JRPGs are easily one of my favorite genres of all time. But what about those games that feature all those elements of JRPGs but aren't quite JRPGs? Let's talk about 10 of the best games from other genres that are just on the cusp of being a JRPG. JRPGs are legendary for their deep stories, unforgettable characters, and unique mechanics. But what about those games that feel like JRPGs without quite fitting the mold? Some have RPG elements, some tell gripping stories, and some just bring that perfect JRPG energy in unexpected ways. Today, we're diving into 10 of the best JRPG adjacent games, titles that JRPG fans absolutely need to check out. So let's jump right into it. Let's kick things off with Popful Mail, a charming side-scrolling action RPG that just oozes personality. This game, developed by Falcom, brings together a quirky cast of characters that mixes action, humor, and RPG mechanics in the perfect way. You control Mail, the snarky, sarcastic bounty hunter, who's always ready with a sharp retort, alongside Kat, a hapless but good-natured magician, and Ga, a beastman with raw strength and a very different approach to problems. The ability to swap between these three characters in real time adds a lot to the combat, making it feel like there's always a new way to tackle situations. While Popful Mail is a great side-scrolling action RPG, it's also got this incredible charm, thanks to its writing done by the beauty that is working designs. The characters' personalities shine through in every conversation, and the story feels like, well, a classic anime adventure. You'll find yourself laughing at the ridiculous banter, and you'll be thoroughly invested in the team's dynamic. The game doesn't take itself too seriously, which is part of its appeal, and the soundtrack, pure Falcom magic. Those upbeat and catchy tunes will stick with you long after you finish the game. While the platforming and combat can get challenging at times, like really challenging, classic working designs making games nigh impossible, the real fun comes from figuring out how each character's unique abilities work together. This is one of those games that's all about finding your rhythm in battle, and once you do, it's incredibly satisfying. Popful Mail is an experience that feels both nostalgic and fresh. It's a must-play for anyone who loves action RPGs with a touch of humor and heart. Next up is CrossCode, and let me tell you, this game is a love letter to retro RPGs. If you've ever played games like Zelda or Secret of Mana, CrossCode will feel like an instant classic. It blends fast-paced action with deep puzzle-solving mechanics, creating a gameplay experience that's both satisfying and challenging. The story follows Leia, a mute protagonist who's trapped in a virtual MMO world, which sounds basic and familiar, Sword Art Online, but it's not as simple as it seems. CrossCode's narrative is incredibly deep and incredibly emotional. As you explore the game's vast environments and uncover hidden secrets, you'll start to piece together the mystery of Leia's past and her connection to the world around her. The world building is top-notch, with every location offering something unique, from hidden treasure chests to quirky NPCs who give you more than just side quests. They give you a glimpse into the world that feels alive. What really sets CrossCode apart, though, is that gameplay. The combat in CrossCode is, well, smooth and fluid, with a blend of ranged and melee attacks that require you to swap back and forth at a moment's notice. You'll also be solving puzzles that require quick thinking and using your environment creatively. The game's physics-based puzzles are so fun to solve, and every dungeon feels like a mini adventure of its own. Plus, the ability to level up and unlock new skills makes the game progression feel really satisfying, giving you plenty of options for customizing your combat style. If you're into games that balance fast action with deep, thoughtful storytelling, CrossCode is a must-play. It's got everything you want from an RPG: mystery, adventure, crazy action, and a soundtrack that perfectly matches the vibe. CrossCode is a hidden gem that you won't want to miss. Next up, we're diving into a game, or game series, that will keep you on the edge of your seat, the Zero Escape series. Composed of 3 games, 999, 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, Virtue's Last Reward, and Zero Time Dilemma. This series is a brilliant mix of visual novel storytelling and escape room puzzles that keep your nerves at high alert. The best way to describe it is like playing a psychological thriller where your choices really matter and the stakes couldn't be higher. The premise is simple but incredibly intense. You're thrown into a life or death situation with a group of strangers trapped in this deadly game. You need to solve puzzles to survive, but the real challenge is figuring out who you can trust and uncovering the dark secrets that lie at the heart of the game's twisted narrative. What really sets Zero Escape apart is how you play with time travel and multiple timelines, allowing the story to unfold in ways that keep you hooked from start to finish. The puzzles themselves are incredibly engaging and will make you think in ways that you didn't expect. Each room you escape feels like a mini story in itself, and solving each puzzle brings you one step closer to unraveling the mystery. But this isn't just about the puzzles, it's the emotional impact of every single choice you make. The story explores deep themes like human nature, morality, and fate, making it one of the most thought-provoking narrative experiences out there. I have mentioned Zero Escape before. The whole trilogy. They are among some of my favorite visual novels to ever exist. If you love JRPG style stories, but want something with a darker, more intense twist, the Zero Escape series is a must play. It's a game that pushes the boundaries of interactive storytelling and will leave you thinking long after you've finished it. Catherine is a game that is as bizarre as it is brilliant. Created by the same team behind the Persona series, this title combines relationship drama, nightmarish puzzles, and some of the most unique gameplay mechanics you'll ever experience. You play as Vincent, a guy caught in the middle of a messed up love triangle, which sounds basic and common, but the twist? Every night he's trapped in nightmares where he has to climb a tower blocks to survive, literally climbing through his personal issues. The story is deeply psychological, exploring themes like commitment, temptation, and the consequences of your actions. The game presents Vincent with tough choices, and those choices affect not only the ending, but also his relationship with the women in his life. The decisions you make in the day affect what happens at night, and the puzzles you solve are metaphors for the emotional climbing that Vincent has to do. As for the puzzles, depending how you are with block and logic puzzles, they can get brutally difficult, and each level feels more challenging than the last. You have to use your wits and strategy to navigate these block-filled towers. It's easy to get stuck, but that's part of the appeal. Catherine forces you to confront your fears and desires, both in the gameplay as well as the narrative. The game's style is distinctive. The vibrant colors, the slick jazz soundtrack, and the mature, provocative storytelling make it stand out as one of Atlus's most unique titles. If you love deep psychological stories mixed with challenging gameplay, Catherine is a game that you won't want to miss. Castlevania Symphony of the Night is not just a classic, it's a game changer, and it created the whole genre we now know as Metroidvania, at least as far as I know. This Metroidvania set the standard for exploration-based action platformers, combining RPG elements with tight, satisfying combat and a massive interconnected world. You play as Alucard, Dracula's son, on a mission to stop his father's castle from rising again. The game's non-linear world allows you to explore at your own pace, uncovering secrets and unlocking new abilities as you go. What makes Symphony of the Night truly stand out is its RPG mechanics. As Alucard, you level up, equip a variety of weapons and armor, and collect powerful spells that not only enhance your combat abilities, but also let you access new areas. The feeling of progression is incredibly rewarding, and each new upgrade makes you feel stronger and more capable. The game's atmosphere is another highlight. Its gothic soundtrack and eerie visuals create a world brimming with mystery, where every corner could hide a dangerous enemy or a hidden secret. The design pulls you into its dark, haunting world, and the music amplifies the feeling of adventure and tension. The boss battles are memorable and challenging, requiring you to learn attack patterns and use your upgraded abilities strategically. These encounters reward you with new gear, abilities, and the sense that you're constantly getting stronger as you push deeper and deeper into the castle. And of course, there's the game's twist. Without spoiling anything, let's just say it completely changes the way you view the game and adds an extra layer of depth to your adventure. Symphony of the Night is a timeless classic that still holds up today. If you love RPGs with deep exploration and satisfying progression and a beautiful atmospheric world, this game is an absolute must-play. It sets the stage for so many games that followed, and its influence is still felt in modern action RPGs. Next up is Street Fighter 6. But hold on, Street Fighter 6 is a fighting game. Well, this entry in the iconic franchise introduces something truly innovative, a full-fledged RPG mode called World Tour. While the 2D fighting mechanics are still as tight as ever, this new mode allows you to create your own custom character and embark on a journey where you'll level up and interact with all of your favorite Street Fighter characters. This mode takes the classic Street Fighter experience and adds a whole new dimension. It's not just about fighting this time, it's about growth. You'll train under various masters, learn new moves, and face off against familiar characters from the series, each with their own unique personalities and backstories. And let's not forget about those RPG elements, like quests, exploration, and character customization. These make it feel more like an RPG than ever before. What's amazing about Street Fighter 6 is how it blends the world of fighting and RPGs. The combo system and combat mechanics are as smooth and satisfying as ever, but now you can develop your own fighting style and build up your character over time. If you ever wish for a Street Fighter game with more depth and narrative, Street Fighter 6's World Tour mode is exactly what you've been waiting for. Whether you're a longtime fighting game fan or a newcomer to the series, the RPG features in Street Fighter 6 add a layer of personal investment that has never been seen before in the franchise. It's the perfect mix of classic fighting action and RPG progression, and it's a must-play for anyone who loves both genres. And before you get all happy, I know this isn't the first RPG-style mode in a Street Fighter game. Street Fighter Alpha 3 had one as well, albeit not as quite in depth, but it was still there. Also, I won't lie, while I do have over 250 hours in Street Fighter 6, probably less than 5 of those hours is in World Tour mode. Moving on to a more lighthearted pick, Super Paper Mario, a game that blends traditional platforming with deep RPG elements in a way you wouldn't expect. This game is part of the Paper Mario series, but it's a bit of a departure from the usual turn-based combat, opting for a more platforming-heavy approach, but what makes it stand out is the storytelling and the emotional depth it brings. The game's centric mechanic involves flipping between 2D and 3D perspectives, which adds an extra layer of puzzle solving and exploration to the classic Mario formula. It's not just about jumping and running, you'll need to think creatively and use the environment to your advantage, but it's the narrative that really sets Super Paper Mario apart. It tells a surprisingly dark story about love, loss, and the fate of entire worlds. The plot dives into themes like existential crises and the meaning of life, which makes it seem more like a JRPG than a typical Mario game. The characters in Super Paper Mario are incredibly endearing, from Mario himself to the quirky cast of allies he teams up with. The humor is sharp, and the way the game balances silly moments with emotional depth is impressive. The game also offers a unique take on RPG progression, with each character bringing special abilities that you'll use to overcome obstacles and defeat enemies in clever ways. And of course, that art style. Everything looks like it's made of paper, hence Super Paper Mario. It's delightful and visually striking. If you're a fan of quirky RPGs with a touch of platforming, Super Paper Mario is a hidden gem that should not be missed. Well, I don't know how hidden it is, but it definitely should not be missed. It's a perfect example of how you can take the familiar and turn it into something fresh and emotionally resonant. Let's slow things down a bit with Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town, a farming simulator that gives you all the depth of an RPG, but with a much more relaxing pace. At its core, this is a game about building relationships, managing your farm, and uncovering the little secrets in a small, tight-knit town. But as simple as it sounds, the gameplay loop here is truly addictive. In this game, you inherit a rundown farm and have the chance to build it up from scratch. But it's not just about farming, there's an entire community to interact with. You'll make friends, fall in love, and even get involved in festivals and town events. The real charm of Friends of Mineral Town is the relationships you form with the townfolk. Each character has their own story, personality, and quirks, and as you get to know them better, you'll unlock more content and deeper narratives. The gameplay too is incredibly satisfying. As you raise crops, tend to animals, and upgrade your farm, you'll feel that sense of accomplishment with every tiny victory. The freedom in how you approach your farm and the people around you means there's always something new to do. Whether you're trying to romance someone, win a cooking contest, or grow the biggest crops, there's always something new to face. The RPG elements come in the form of relationship building, character progression, and even the occasional dungeon exploration for rare items. It's an incredibly relaxing experience that offers just enough depth to keep you coming back for more. If you love life sims with strong character development and a peaceful, rewarding rhythm, Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town is one of the best games to lose yourself in. Oh, here it is. Now we're talking about one of the most legendary games of all time, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. This game is an absolute masterpiece, and a perfect example of how an action-adventure title can incorporate elements of RPGs. If you've never played it, which I won't lie, would shock me because this is a game that everyone should play, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past defines so many of the mechanics we see in modern JRPGs. In A Link to the Past, you play as Link, the hero of Hyrule, on a quest to rescue Princess Zelda and stop the evil wizard Ganon from taking over the kingdom. Pretty standard fare for any Zelda game, honestly. This game combines the top-down dungeon crawling, exploration, and puzzle solving in a way that feels timeless. The world of Hyrule is vast, with tons of secrets to uncover and dungeons to conquer, as well as puzzles to solve. As you progress, you'll gain new tools and abilities, unlocking even more parts of the world and creating a satisfying sense of progression. But beyond the gameplay, what makes A Link to the Past such a standout is the atmosphere. The world feels alive, full of rich lore, and every new area has its own unique flavor. Not to mention, you have two completely unique overworlds to explore. The soundtrack is iconic, and the music sets the tone for every dungeon, every town, and every encounter. And let's not forget about that incredible storytelling. It's simple, but effective, and it conveys the classic themes of good versus evil while still making you feel invested in the fate of the characters. For fans of JRPGs who enjoy exploration, puzzle solving, and a solid adventure, A Link to the Past is a must-play. It's a game that inspired so many other titles in the genre, and it continues to be a timeless classic that every RPG fan should experience. And finally, we have Yakuza Zero, a game that combines deep storytelling, intense combat, and an open world that feels alive in a way that very few games can match. If you have never played a Yakuza game, think of it as a mix of action RPG, beat 'em up, and interactive drama, set in the neon-lit streets of 1980s Japan. In Yakuza Zero, you control two characters: Kiryu, a young Yakuza member who's trying to clear his name, and Majima, a charismatic but dangerous rogue. The game follows their intertwining stories as they navigate the criminal underworld, face off against rival gangs, and try to uncover the truth behind a mysterious real estate deal. What sets Yakuza Zero apart from other open-world games is the depth of its narrative. It's a game that tackles serious themes like honor, betrayal, and redemption, but it's also full of humor, absurdity, and plenty of side content that will keep you entertained for hours. The combat system is fluid and fast-paced, with a unique style-switching mechanic that lets you choose between different fighting styles in battle. You'll also get to engage in everything from running a nightclub, playing classic Japanese arcade games, dancing your heart out in the disco, to even becoming a pocket circuit racing champ. The sub-stories in Yakuza, they go hard. Yakuza Zero isn't just a game, it's an experience. If you're looking for a title with deep JRPG-style storytelling, an immersive world, and tons of ridiculous activities, Yakuza Zero is the ultimate must-play for any fan of action RPGs. Its powerful story, memorable characters, and engaging world make it one of the most unique experiences you can have in gaming today. And there you have it. 10 amazing games that aren't quite JRPGs, but as a JRPG fan, you should definitely check them out. But now it's your turn. What are your favorite JRPG adjacent games? Drop a comment below and let's chat all about it. And if you love JRPG content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a new video. I put a new video out every week, so you always have something to look forward to. Got time for one more? Click right here for another excellent video. You won't want to miss it. This has been Shinky. Thanks so much for watching, and until next week's video, have a wonderful day.